In a stunning and forceful letter sent today to all NATO member nations and addressed to the world, US President Donald J. Trump has issued a bold ultimatum: stop buying Russian oil and impose sweeping sanctions on Russia to bring an immediate end to the war in Ukraine. The letter, released on Saturday, September 13th, comes amid escalating tensions in Eastern Europe, where Russian drone incursions into Polish airspace earlier this week prompted NATO to launch Operation Eastern Sentry and deploy French Rafale fighter jets to bolster regional defences. In his letter, President Trump expressed frustration with what he described as NATO's lackluster commitment to countering Russian aggression. NATO's commitment to win has been far less than 100%, and the purchase of Russian oil by some has been shocking, he wrote, arguing that continued oil purchases weaken the alliance's leverage over Moscow. Trump declared his readiness to implement major sanctions on Russia, but insisted that all NATO nations must first unify in halting Russian oil imports and imposing their own sanctions. The letter also proposed a provocative strategy to pressure Russia indirectly, imposing 50% to 100% tariffs on China, which Trump claims holds significant influence over Russia. He suggested these tariffs could be lifted once the Ukraine conflict ends, framing them as a tool to break China's grip and force a resolution to what he called a ridiculous war. Trump emphasized that the conflict, which he stated has claimed 7,118 lives in the past week alone, is Biden's and Zelensky's war, distancing himself from its origins while positioning himself as a decisive leader aiming to save lives. The letter arrives at a critical juncture. On September 10th, Poland, with NATO support, shot down suspected Russian drones violating its airspace, a historic first for the alliance since Russia's invasion of Ukraine began. In response, NATO launched Operation Eastern Sentry on September 12th, signalling a heightened defensive posture. France's deployment of 3 Rafale fighter jets to Poland underscores the alliance's resolve to protect its eastern flank. However, President Trump's letter concludes with a stark warning. If NATO does as I say, the war will end quickly, and all of those lives will be saved. If not, you are just wasting my time and the time, energy and money of the United States. The ball is now in NATO's court, with the world watching to see how the alliance responds to this unprecedented challenge from the US president. DRM News will continue to provide live updates as this story develops. Stay tuned for reactions from NATO leaders, Russia, and global markets.